I heard a analogy that this business, probably a lot of businesses are, like this are like trying to run up an escalator, right? A down escalator, an escalator that's obviously, moving people down. But when we were all kids, we try to run up those things, right? Because it's fun and it's a challenge, right? So the key is you gotta build up momentum and speed to get up it, right? And it takes time, right? Because it's going to take like twice, three times as long to get up it as if you were, just going upstairs or whatever, right? Because you got that resistance coming down. And the thing about it is, and you can see how it relates to this business, right? Coaching, right? It's like it takes a lot of momentum to get started, right? And then it takes consistency over time. Who joined us? Chris joined us again? Okay. You liked it so much you joined us.
He wants to get double the experience.
Good. All right. Well, we get to see your face now, Chris. That's good. So I was saying that, you gotta, build up that momentum. You've got to build up that speed, right? And then you got to stay consistent. You got to stay consistent in this business for a year at least to see success. And it's not just about being, because if you ask a lot of coaches, probably coaches on this call, that it's not just about being a coach for a year. It's about consistently doing the things, the vital behaviors that coaches need to do over that year to be successful, right? So think about if you're running up that escalator and you get tired, right? And think of those steps that are coming down as people that are telling you no, right? Because, that never happens in this business, right? We never hear no, right? No, I mean, it comes as fast as those steps, right? Everybody's telling you no. And that's normal, right? Especially if you're a new coach, all you hear is no. And most new coaches, they get discouraged and they stop. And then it's not like you're standing on a regular set of stairs, like where you're halfway up, you stop, you're going to stay halfway up, right? You take a year off. Chris, you took a year off, right? Did you stay in the same spot?
No.
Right? You come all the way back down. That's what happens. You stop, you go all the way back down, right? Yeah. I have diamond coaches, personally sponsored star diamond coaches that, one person that made, paid off $75,000 in credit card debt and bought his first home because of Beachbody. And he stopped, right? Now I can tell you, he's nowhere near making the amount of money that he was making, at the peak, right? But you just have to, it does get hard, it does get tiring, but you have to keep going. And if you're moving faster than those steps are coming down, you're going to make it to the top, right? Or you're going to have success. Don't think of it as you're going to conquer it and be like 15-star diamond. Think of it as you're going to have success, right? And that's where we want to be. I want to be at the top, right? Who wants to be at the top with me? That's kind of the key. And the keys to getting, coaches that consistently make it to the top or have success in this business, they have two things: why and belief. Okay. So why consists of kind of three parts. One is your personal why you want to do this business, right? It's like, personally, I do it because I need to stay healthy. I need to lose weight. I need the accountability. I need health. Second reason, I do like to help people, getting people on my team in my groups gives me that accountability. I like the personal satisfaction of being able to help people lose weight and get healthy and all that stuff as well. But honestly, like, how many diets have we all tried, right? How many exercise programs, how many gyms have we been to that we've done and quit, right? So that's not enough, right? Helping people, yes, we all like to help people. How many of you guys go out every single week and volunteer at a food pantry or something, right? We like it, but we're not motivated enough to do it every week alone, right? So neither one of those are enough alone. They're a why, but they're not enough. The third reason is you got to have that burning desire, that passion to change your life, right? That's what it's about, right? So typically that is financially motivated, right? People honestly are most people are motivated by money, right? So money, not because people necessarily worship money, but they want what money allows them to do. It gives them the time freedom or the financial freedom to live their life the way that you want to live it, right? So none of us probably want to be strapped to our job, right, where we can't take time off for vacations or spend time with our kids or travel the world or go on mission trips or whatever you're passionate about, because most of the time you're held back by your obligations, to your job, and finances, right? So if you had an opportunity like this where it was paying you, right, where potentially you could walk away from your job if you wanted to, then even if you don't even have to get to that point, but if you're seeing that financial reward and that allows you to do things that you couldn't do otherwise, like take those vacations, send your kids to a private school, or pay for piano lessons, or take a vacation, whatever, then that's what's going to really solidify that why, right? That first part. So you need like all three parts, right? You got to be able to, make money and have that passion and have that personal why and help people. And then the second thing is belief. You got to believe that you can do it, right? You got to have that belief and that belief, because if you lose the belief, then you're not going to continue, right? You're going to get halfway up and you're going to stop and you're going to come all the way back down, right? So it's about having the right mindset. Chris will tell you, right, that personal development is key, right? You got to have the mindset. You got to be, feeding your mind positivity, right? And giving it the affirmations and believing in yourself and investing in yourself and listening to personal development and reading those books and, whatever it takes for you to believe. And of course, once you start seeing results from the why, right? Like people that you've helped and, your health getting better and hopefully you making money and signing up customers and things like that, that will all contribute to the belief, right? So if you have those two things, you can get up to the top of the escalator. So that was the analogy that I heard this week. I thought it was good and it was kind of fitting for this business. What do you guys think?
The only other thing I would add to that is that the grind is real. Is that, you can be, motivated and say, okay, everything you said was great, Greg, and this is great. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and push forward with my business today or for the next week or whatever. You can be motivated for a period of time, but then when it comes to the grind, man, it's real. It can be tough sometimes. And then just holding that up in front of your face, that mirror of, your whys, your belief, and then you say, moving forward with that, and then you say things like, I can take a day off, I can just do this or that kind of thing. But then we can fall into that trap of, 1 day off becomes 3 days off. 3 days off becomes a week off, that sort of thing. And so we can say, well, that was okay. And then you can take more, then you take for yourself more and more time off. And then you can fall into that trap. That's the only thing that I would add to that. But yeah, the grind definitely it's real. So
I think we all have that problem with, or a lot of people anyway, like not Tom, but a lot of us have that problem with diet and exercise, right? I mean, it's like, you take a day off, you're like, this is great. I'm going to take another day off, and then before you know it, you're gaining weight or you're getting out of shape or whatever, right? So
yeah,
same is true, right? Yeah, you got to stick with it, and it is work. It is a grind, and honestly, that's why we have this call. That's why we started this call. It's just to kind of be an accountability for us, right? And to support each other and to give us motivation, because all week we're hearing no's, we're getting setbacks, but sometimes we get sometimes we get, what do you call it, good things that happen, right? And then we want to share those. So that's another thing that we do on these calls. We celebrate the when people have successes, and that makes us all feel better, right? So we're a team. This is not an individual sport, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and yeah, the only other thing that I'd say is that the one thing that I'm teaching myself in the exercise department is, like I said, the thing about taking days off. And just to let you know, guys, the next thing I'm going to say is not something that I'm bragging about. It's something that I've been trying to work on myself. For the past 156 days, I've only taken 3 days off of exercise. Every other day I have worked out, and even if the program says rest day, I skip the rest day and I just move on to the next one. Now, if it says rest day or stretch, then I'll do the stretch, because, my body does need breaks every once in a while from the pushing and lifting and pulling and all that stuff. But so I will do stretching. So, and I count that as exercise, but, and, it's just, it's the grind for me. It's like, look, exercising needs to be real for me. And if I can get this down for me, then the grind in the business will then follow. Just to let you guys know, and I'm sorry, Greg and Tom, for not responding last night. I was playing with my siblings last night, but but I'll get back to you later today. But this past week, I've been accountable to Greg and Tom about moving forward in the business. And I've been every day this week, except for last night, just a lot of things piled up and I didn't get a chance to message, but, I've been telling them, yes, I've been doing this business, because it's kind of like being an accountability for them kind of thing. So now it's like, I think I've got the exercising part down as far as the grind, for it's been almost 6 months now. And now it's like, okay, now let's start slowly building the business now. So.
Yeah, you've been doing great. You just gotta, keep it up for another year or two, and then you'll get success.
Yeah. Like we said, the grind is real.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, it really depends, right? I mean, some coaches, they have that natural following. They have lots of followers when they start, so they shoot off like a rocket. Others, like myself and Tom and Chris, right? We started with like probably next to 0 followers on, social media, and we got to build up from scratch, right? And it takes a lot more work and a lot more time before you start seeing that success. But once you get that ball rolling, then like Tom, you're hitting success level every single week, and you just got to keep it going. So Tom, you got anything to add?
Yeah, just I mean, you were kind of joking about how with the exercise. I mean, I do. It's, I don't know. For me, it's like when if you make a commitment to do something, like Chris was saying, like kind of just you'd say every night, or you're going to do it. You check off those boxes. I mean, that just really helps me so much. I mean, I used to always workout programs. And I told Greg this before. I mean, I've tried everything, like before I got into Beachbody, and I would do these programs, and if I pick a 12-week program, do it, and then all right, when I'm done with that, take a week off that ended up turning to a month. So I did always go through that yo-yo. I mean, big time. I mean, and I never really got great results. I got results because if you stick to any program and, any diet, even these like ketos and things that I don't believe really truly work long term, you'll get results. But the key is consistency over time, and that for your health, that's forever. So what I loved about Beachbody is, one, I got into it, I got great results, not just results. And it's when I finished my first program, I didn't say, okay, take a week off. I actually did the same program again because I love it so much. I'm doing it again now. I love Body Beast. It's my favorite. But hey, hello. But it's that there's so many programs and you got the variety. So it's I just go from one program to the next. And when I print out the calendar, I just I print it out, and every day just check it off, and that just keeps me. I know that I made that commitment to myself and to my team and to the group, the accountability group. And I mean, there's days I feel like I don't want to work out. And there's days, I'll take the rest day today, but I'll just jump back in. And I've been consistent with my workouts now for years, and like it's just been incredible. And now I'm at the same weight. I want to try to gain now, but I'm at the same weight. I consistently, fluctuate maybe 1 or 2 pounds, but for like 4 years now. And I used to just, I'd drop and I gain and I drop and I gain. My body fat was all over the place. I've just been consistent with it. And it's, that's awesome, especially at my age. I'm not a teenager. So it's great. And then it's the same with the business. And, what Chris was saying, like, he checks in with us and, basically says, I did my follows or whatever, it is for that day. And, sometimes, I'm laying in bed at night, because I guess the time zones are a little different too. And I get that message and I'm like, I did my follows, but I didn't do my follow-ups. So, it helps me too. So I'm glad we do that. And at one point I think we were all sharing our business activity trackers and just showing what we did. And and going through that, it just makes a world of a difference. And it's consistency over time. It's not overnight. I mean, but when I do go through it, I check off those boxes. The same thing, it just works for me. And I still print out the sheets because I'm trying to get into the online version, because it is actually pretty cool. If you guys didn't use the Success Club tracker in the coach office, it is pretty cool. It's even got a timer and stuff there. So like the parts I do at work, I'll use that because I'm in front of the computer. But at home, I'm always like all over the place. So I kind of like at night just going through the boxes. But you do that consistently. I mean, you'll see results. You'll get, it will take time for it to really to develop into something, but you do that every day. You're talking to people every day. You're following up, and people getting back to you. It's compounding, and I'm telling you, I sing this song all the time about the activity tracker. Just do it, and you make that commitment to yourself, and just say, I'm going to go through this, every day, and you don't have to hit every box every single day, but you just do that consistently. You'll get into that groove, and
does the new electronic one, does it remember, like, does it store your information and remember what you did every day, or is it just like check the boxes and it's gone?
Yeah, it does store it, but you don't see it. Like I like with the sheet, because you're looking right at yesterday, today. So you got to like go scroll around to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. But what's cool about it though is kind of, you just, like if you want to, you say you're gonna do, whatever, say the time, say tell you 15 minutes of, following up with people in your challenge group. You kind of can set the timer and actually, and say, I'm going to just do that, because you can get lost in some of this stuff, as you probably know. I mean, and I don't get bent on the times, because I mean, it's, that's an hour. I mean, I'll go over the hour, not all in one sitting, but it's going to, I'm spending more than an hour. That's for sure. That's what I want. I don't, I want to go at warp speed. But, hey, I'm not getting any younger here. I'm tired of commuting 2 hours, but if you can set the timer to say, like, if you really only want, you're able to only dedicate an hour and you want to sit and dedicate an hour, I'll do sporadically throughout the day. But if you want to do that, you could set the timer and just do, okay, I'm going 15 minutes. I'm going to do follow-ups, unfollows. And if it goes over to 15 minutes, boom, you go to the next. You know, that way you can kind of hit everything. So it's cool like that. But what I don't like about it is that you don't see that, like, you know, you want to look at like yesterday I did this, and so you don't really get that.
You don't see a week at a time. Gotcha.
Yeah, you just see like the day you're looking at.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
it's still cool. I mean, 'cause you don't really need to compare what you did yesterday. It's just I do like it, because some things I don't, you know, you might not want to do every day. It's like you might not want to, you know, share, you know, like, you know, it's, you don't want your, to me, like my feed, I try to keep on my social media a little, you know, more of a variety. Like I don't want to every day invite to the challenge group, you know, call to action for my challenge group. So I want to change it up, and, you know, today talk about the business, and, you know what I mean? So it's like some things I just feel like I don't want to do that every day in particular, but then there's certain things that every day, I mean, every day you want to, you know, you basically do your follows, unfollows. I mean, they don't call it that, but, you know, but I forget the way they word it, but, you know, it's
Initiate
basically
connections.
initiate connections. There you go. But you
Mhm.
want to initiate connections every day. You want to follow up every day. So that's like, once you're in that groove though, you know, just go down that list, and you know what, you get a feel
Yeah.
for.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, they call it the power hour, right? I mean, they say, you know, everybody can, you know, find an hour in their day, and it doesn't have to be all at the same time, but it's probably better if it is, right? And then you can allocate different times. And I guess that's what they're doing with the activity tracker, right? 15 minutes for this task, 15 minutes for that task. Right. Yeah, I mean, definitely it works, but you don't have to spend that amount of time, right? You can spend,
Mhm.
like, obviously the real successful coaches will spend a lot more than 15 minutes with their invites, right? You know, they recommend whatever 10 or some really low number, and you know, the ones that, you know, are killing it are doing 200 or, you know, or more a day.
Mhm.
So
And you know, it's even
And
like with Chris, you notice like like if it's late at night and I say, okay, I didn't, they say it's 5 invites is what is on the sheet. I think it says send 5 invites. And, you know, I always try to do more than that. But yeah, I always, you know, you look at conversations you're having. If I didn't do those 5 invites, I'll send them out to like anyone, you know, kind of that I've been talking with, you know, it's like, or that commented on, if I did a post about my challenge, about my group, or, you know, I just put, like, I always try to put something in the post, you know, where it's at the end, I say, you know, just reach out if you're interested in joining or learning more. So people that just like it, like they didn't even comment, I'll look at whoever, you know, if I had 20 people like this, I'll just send out, boom, boom, boom. Thanks for liking my post. Would you be interested in joining my group? It's free.
Mhm.
And I don't even look at, like, if it's late at night, I don't even look at, I'll just send them out. And in the morning I wake up and I got responses, you know? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so even if you just do it, you don't have to take a lot of time and put it into it. I mean, obviously if you're engaging with people and having conversations, you're building a relationship, it's going to work a lot better. But I mean, there's times where I just didn't have time to do that. Just boom, 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 boom. Perfect strangers. I don't care.
Right. Right.
They
Exactly.
don't
Well,
answer, they don't answer. They say no, who cares? But
right.
some other people will respond, say, well, tell me more about it. What exactly is it? And then I start
Mhm.
that whole engagement, and it works.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing, Tom, is that the consistency of the whole thing, and people, obviously people are all different. Some people can just jump in and take all of this that we say and do like right away, and like, oh, I'm going to go do it all right away. Whereas, someone like myself, I'm more of the kind of person that I like to master one area first. And okay, I master this area. Now I'm going to go on to the next thing. Now I'm going to go on to the next thing. And that's what I've been doing with the exercising really consistently. It's like, okay, my body basically wakes up every day. I'll say, okay, this is going to suck, but we got to do it anyway, because this is what we're going to do, kind of thing. And then now it's kind of like, okay, now that it embraces the suck, now it's like, okay, now let's embrace something else that, kind of sucks. Even though that, the follow unfollows are not hard, it's just getting to it and actually pushing the buttons and actually going to the accounts and actually pushing the follow for the accounts is actually doing it, and that's what I wanted to do with you guys there. um, One other thing I wanted to mention about going back to the grind really quick, for those of you who have done the work, by the way, it's a really hard workout.
You think?
And yeah, yeah, I got the Crucible first thing tomorrow, so cannot wait. Anyway, Amala said something, and I don't remember if it was yesterday's video or the video before. He said something like, oh, when you're working out, you don't want to say to yourself, this sucks, because if you say it sucks, what is it going to be? It's going to suck for you. And you want to embrace it, and you want to be all like, oh, this is good for me kind of thing. While I get where he's coming from, I notice that, there's a lot of programs that think that way. They say, oh, you have to love exercising, and then you'll move further with it. I actually, because of, the people I listen to with David Goggins and Jocko Willink, I actually believe the opposite. Some of you might have heard this story that I shared with you before, but I know that some of you didn't hear this. Jocko shared a 1-minute story on YouTube where he was talking about how he was leading a bunch of his guys when he was a Navy SEAL. And he said, and sometimes we would go through some really miserable situations, like going through on a deep dive and the water was freezing cold, or we had to go on a steep terrain and it was hot and muggy, or maybe we had to get our boats through the surf zone and there were giant waves coming and hitting our boats. And he said, invariably, someone in my platoon would mutter in a low voice, well, this is gonna suck. And then he says, and you know what we do? We do it anyways, and that's more of the mindset that I'm developing of. Starting to look at tasks. I'm gonna be all like, oh, I let my mind have that minute of just, oh gosh, this is gonna suck, like the Crucible tomorrow. This is going to suck. But then it's like, you got to get up and do it anyways, and I'm more of that mindset. So anyway, it's just, it's going to happen. You're going to have those days where it's going to suck, but then, and then in the end, you got to tell yourself, like what Greg was saying, through belief, through your belief, you will tell yourself it's worth it. So.
Yeah. That's what I say before every workout. This is going to suck, but gotta do it anyway. So who else has some thoughts, words? Brent, you got anything?
Not right now, no.
No. Carrie?
Tom and I can go on forever, so.
Something to remember too, that I think only 5% of the Beachbody coaches reach that elite top level. So we can't get discouraged stating that it's so saturated that we'll never get up there. And, there's only like 5 or 10% that does the work to get up there. So I think that's
true.
having to.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But when I say reach the top of the escalator, I'm just saying being successful to whatever you define as successful, right? I really don't care about about being a lead or 15-star or whatever anymore. I just want to be successful to what I want, right? What are my goals, right? And that's what I want for you guys, right? Carrie's absolutely right. There are coaches that have been they've gone to Summit, which is the most amazing experience ever, right? You get to see all these speakers and top coaches, and you get so pumped up. But it's deflating to some coaches because they see, the elite coaches and the 15 stars and the 5 stars and, and they see all their success and they hear their success stories and they go, I can never do that. Right. And then I've had several members of my team that have quit after Summit, which it's kind of counterintuitive, right? You wouldn't think that would happen. You would think most people leave Summit, they're all pumped up and they think, I'm going to be that, right? But some people are like, I can never be that, and they quit. And you can't let that happen, right? You got to set realistic expectations, realistic goals, and achieve what you can achieve, and be happy with your level of progress, right? Or whatever that is, right? And your success may be hitting Success Club, right? Or whatever, or making $100 a week or whatever, right? To pay for groceries, right? So you set your goals and achieve that, and you'll be successful, or helping 10 people a week or whatever it is,
That's why the quote, comparison is the thief of joy, is so true, especially when it's comparing to others. Now it becomes a little bit more personal when you compare it to yourself the previous day or the previous year or the previous 10 years even, and sometimes I'll do that to myself and I'll say where, I'll look at, like I'll do a move in the work or something and I'll be like, damn, I feel like I'm a lot weaker than I was when I was doing Body Beast or whatever. And then I'll say to myself, wait a second, but before I couldn't do this, before I couldn't do that, and then that's actually more encouraging to compare myself to my past self versus other people. And that is something that I'm really learning to not do, is compare myself to people that are more successful than me. I mean, to be honest, sometimes I can think to myself, well, Greg keeps getting all these people, Tom keeps getting all these people, but then the other part of my brain says, they're putting in the work, dumbass. Keep going.
Oh, and we've been doing it longer, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing to piggyback off of his comparison, if you're doing your follows and unfollows, let's say you follow the system like what Greg is using stuff, you go out to Tony Horton and then you start looking at his followers and you start clicking on them, then you see, oh, Greg's always following him. Tom's already following him. And so you jump and you skip over it. We're comparing ourselves with them, but we don't know. Maybe our personality may click a little better with that person than what, Greg may be or Tom may be. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and follow those people, because you never know. Because we can all be in a group, but we all, are attracted to those that we are, have hit off. Even though we're in a group of 20, there may be 2 or 3 that you get closer to than the other people in the group, even though you're all together.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, don't not follow someone because you see one of us already doing it. How many times, Greg? I said that at the beginning, and Greg's like, it doesn't matter. They might not connect with me. And I've gotten coaches that joined my group that Greg's spoken to. He's got coaches that signed up or joined his group that, that I've been talking to. Like, I'll see a name pop up and I'll look at my history and I say, oh, I talked to that person like a year ago. But, if they just didn't, they didn't connect, whatever. We didn't, it's not always, gonna be that way. It's not. That's why you're engaging and connecting with people so that you kind of get to know each other. And if they just may not hit it off with me or whatever, but don't let that deter you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I typically just click on like follower, like Tony Horton or somebody, and I'll just start at the top. But somebody was saying that you can like sort it by different lists, or you can, right, Tom? Like you can
sort it by alphabetical, like
alphabetical, right?
Yeah.
So you can go to like the A's today and the B's tomorrow, or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody was saying that, and that's a good strategy, because instead of getting the most recent people, you're getting, a more random sample, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
And you get other people, that's like, it's a key, it's an easy way to grow followers and to reach out to engage people that already, obviously if they're following Tony Horton, they're into fitness or into P90X or something. But that's just one way. It's the one, if they see you follow them, typically before somebody follows you back, they're going to take a peek at your profile, take a peek at your page. So, they might look at something you're doing and say, oh, that's cool. I'm going to follow this guy, and look at me and say, this guy's doing the same shit every day, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it all adds up. It all compounds.
Yeah, I get like 10 random people that follow me a day, and I'll look at them. And most of the time it's like, girls showing their butts, right? So I know that that's like, ridiculous. Or it's like Bitcoin, they're advertising Bitcoin or something, right? So I never follow any of them back, because I know they're all just, scammers or whatever. But when I do find that real person, like, oh, this is a real person, they followed me, okay, I'll follow them back. I always do that, right? I check out their profiles, and that's what people do to us, right? So, that's why you don't want to be salesy on your page. You don't want to have like pictures of Shakeology and challenge packs and stuff like that, because when people check out your page, they're going to be like, oh, they're just going to try to sell me something, right? And and that's why I'm like right up front with people. Sometimes like I had one guy follow me on Facebook, send me a friend request, and I accepted. And he was a local guy, and he was in fitness, right? So I'm like, okay, I'll accept his friend request. And then he starts messaging me, and what we call forming, right? That's form stands for family, occupation, recreation, message, right? So that's what in network marketing you're trained to do, right? Don't start with the message, right? You know, whatever, don't start with the invite. Start with, how's your family doing? Yeah, I see. Oh, you got a little kid just like I do, right? You know, and then go to, you know, the rest. But and that's what he started to do with me, right? He's like, so I see you're into fitness. Yeah, and I talked about it, you know, a little bit, and then he's like, oh, you know, what are your goals? You know, and I'm like, oh, here we go. You know, I'm just waiting for, you know, what's he gonna ask? What is he trying to sell me? You know, it's like, hey, I've done this for 10 years. I know the game, right? You know, I would rather him just like, you know, I would rather him just tell me the message first thing, but I know most people aren't like that, you know. But, you know, with me, when I message people, I say, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach. You know, basically I say, I paraphrase, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just trying to connect, you know, that type of thing, right? Or just trying to invite you to my free group, right? You know, or whatever, right? I ask them what their workout is, you know, and to start the conversation, but different strategies for sure, you know. But I thought it was funny because I knew immediately what he was doing, and he kept dragging out the conversation, and I'm like, and I'm finally like, so tell me about what you do. Tell me about, you know, I'm just trying to help him along, you know.
It's like, no need to go through form. Come on, just go for it.
Exactly. I know you really don't care about what I do and what, you know, tell me what you're trying to sell me, you know. So I think we had a couple people join late. Who's on the phone? Maybe no one.
Not sure.
Is that Chris? You again?
No, I disconnected. I don't have a 412 area code.
Okay, and I know Christy joined late, so I don't know if you're still there, Christy. Oh, I had a great analogy, so you'll have to watch the recording. I recorded it for you earlier. You missed it.
Okay, cool.
How Beachbody coaching is like an escalator.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
the- Yeah, I was going to say the only
feels
other
life is like an escalator right now.
Yeah.
Did you tell Greg about you remember I messaged you earlier this week and I talked about, I had spent about an hour and a half talking to a lady that I know that had just had a baby. And I kept talking to her about the pre and postnatal classes from Beachbody. And as soon as I was done, she was like, that is awesome. I've got to check it out. She says, you know, my sister-in-law has a membership. I'll just use hers. I was like,
Yes.
why? I had just spent an hour and a half. I pulled up the app on my phone. I was like, here, you can look through it. It would be awesome. It's free for 2 weeks. She's like, yeah, my sister-in-law has a membership.
I'll just use hers. Yeah. They should prevent that, you know, like, I don't know.
If
Try
Netflix
inviting her
can,
to your group though. Still try and get her in your group. So
That's true. That's true.
I did, and two other coworkers and I are going to go do a workout this week. So I'll invite her to that. I just couldn't. I was just like, of course, that's just how it goes. I spent an hour and a half talking to you, and you just.
I talked to a guy I know locally this week, and he messaged me kind of out of the blue. Hey, we're doing, you know, this water thing, you know, trying to get healthy. And he's like, and I know you're into health. So what do you do? And I told him, you know, I'm in Beachbody, and, you know, I told him about Shakeology and the meal plans and all that stuff. And he's like, oh, I know a coach in Beachbody. And I said, oh yeah, who's that? And he says, it's Elise Jones. Right. She's the trainer who did Bar Blend. You guys,
Whoa.
you know. And I go, Really? She's not a coach. She's a celebrity trainer. And I think she was in 3-week yoga retreat, did bar blend, right? But she's local to my area. She grew up here. And this guy and his wife used to babysit them when they were babysitter when she was a little kid. So
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of interesting story. I was like, oh yeah, that's amazing, you know. But anyway, I mean, he didn't sign up or anything, but I gave him information, and you know, I said, if you're interested, let me know. So
I did make a really good contact this week. I have a coworker. It's one of the same that's going to go do a workout with me, and she's done P90X in the past, and she's like a diehard believer of keto. I'm not, but she absolutely thinks keto is where it's at, and she started P90X, and she sent me a message. She's like, "Hey, what is that pre-workout stuff that you always drink?" So I said, "It's Energize." So I brought her 2 of the little sample packets, and she went home. She used those on Thursday. Like, I love that stuff. I need to get some. And I had messaged Tom to say if she did the 2-week trial, like if I could get her to do the 2-week trial, could she order Energize on her own, and could I do a share cart? So I think I may have a really good prospect, and it has taken 6 months with her to get her to the point that she's willing to give it a try. But I think if she could get on and see all the programs out there, she would find others, you know, once she finishes that program. You know, there's so much more out there. P90X is awesome. You know, but there's so many more out there, I think, that would appeal to her too.
yeah,
It's just starting small, and maybe I'll get there one day.
you're wearing down. Yep.
It's like for every 50 people that I contact, I get like this little nibble. You know, well, what about this Energized stuff that you use? And she did like it. I sneaked a little. I cheated a little because I have this old can of Slummy C4. So I was like, well, so I gave her both, and she's like, "Ooh, I don't know. C4 scares me." And I said, "Well, then this is the clean stuff. This is the stuff that won't crash. This stuff is going to make you crazy. This stuff will just get you where you want to be." And she's like, "Yeah, I don't want that. I'll go for the clean stuff." So maybe I cheated. I don't know. 30 C4 stuff right in there. So
right. Yeah. A lot of people will tell you no in the beginning, or even now, right? It doesn't matter. But they'll start watching you more closely, right? And they're going to see, especially if you start a new business, right? They're not immediately going to jump on board unless they're maybe your best friend or your, sister or whatever, right? But they're going to start watching you, and they're going to start seeing if you're consistently doing it or if you're going to quit next month, and sometimes it takes 6 months or a year, and also, like I mentioned earlier in the call, offering those free challenges are a good non-committal way to get them involved. Offer a clean week challenge, offer a challenge that you put together, and getting them in a group, and that'll help speed things up for you. Because if you, like I was telling Jessica, fake it, till you make it, right? Act like a coach, show that you're invested in them, give them value, and give them something for free, right? And help them see results. That's gonna greatly speed up their willingness to try, right, new things and spend money, of course.
I do like the little packets. I always order the little packets of things like the Energize, because I can hand those out. The little packets of Shakeology, I can hand those out. And I learned to send a recipe. I learned to do that. Otherwise, they don't know how to do it. They don't know how to make it. But I figure it's an investment at some point. It'll be successful.
Yeah, I always see my daughter like taking my packets to work, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "Oh, somebody wants to try Shakeology," you know. But she doesn't even tell me, so I can't even follow up with them or anything, you know, because she'll just like give it to them and then never talk to them, you know, or
Well, they
never.
loved it.
Right? They loved it. They ordered it from somebody else. Yeah, thanks.
Shakeology is a thing that I struggle with because I like it and I love the benefits, but I struggle to fit it in during my day. That is the one box on that checklist that I struggle with. It's like I can hit it about 3 or 4 times a week, but to get that every day, I struggle with Shakeology. And just having the time to prepare it or being home or something like that. I do struggle with the Shakeology. It's not that I don't like it. It's a hard thing for me to fit in sometimes. If I don't get it into breakfast, it's a hard one to fit in later on in the day.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to shake. You want food, right?
I want food, yes.
Hot
And
food,
it's too
whatever.
many calories personally for me to just throw in there during the day, just in between a meal or something. So yeah, it is kind of a struggle for me to fit that one. And I don't want anything cold in the morning for breakfast.
Right. Well, like I don't, you know, I'll admit I don't drink it every day because like you, it's like I don't want it every day, right? Or whatever. So, but I'm lucky that I have other people in my house that drink it. So, you know, I can still go through, you know, and I don't get backed up, right? You know, so that's key, right?
Yeah.
Share it with your family, right? You know, get
Mhm.
them on board and stuff. And that way, you know, every single month, you know, you run out and get more.
Mhm. Right.
Kind of the opposite. It's like I never have time to eat, so I like rely on. I live on. I mean, not that that's good either, but there's some days like yesterday I didn't even have time. I've lived on Beachbody and Shakeology all day long until I got home. I mean, I didn't want to. It was either eat nothing or just have another shake. But I'm in an office. I mean, it's not like I have time. But I got a little ninja thing, so like. But I don't like it with just water. I'll do that even though in my car I'll keep envelopes and just throw it with water in the shaker. But it's to me, it's just like the opposite. It's like a lifesaver when I just don't have time to eat.
Right.
Yeah, my challenge is eating enough, which is probably the opposite of most people. But
You have a restaurant in your building, right? I guess they're closed now. Is that what's going on?
they just reopened, but it's yeah. But I guess it's been closed so long. I never even thought about that.
I would
But it's
just be
not.
hitting up that restaurant every day.
Well, it's not like I mean, I guess he would probably feed me for free, but it's like I don't like. It's not part of the hotel. He's a tenant.
Gotcha.
So it's his own business and stuff. So I think at one point they used to give like a nice employee discount and stuff, but it's like in a hotel restaurant. I mean, you know how it is, the prices in a hotel restaurant.
Yeah, right.
Mhm.
And they just try to make it too fancy. It's just like, you know what I mean? Just give me a salad. I did go there once and they used to have a chicken salad. I ordered a salad with grilled chicken. Oh, it's not on the menu anymore. We have the plain salad, and then we have, I was like, so why is it all just throw chicken on top of that?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Like they made it
Exactly.
this salad with all this weird stuff. I was like, it's hard to find something that fits into my diet.
Right.
Mhm.
But I mean, I'm in New York City. I can go right across the street and get anything I want.
Right.
I just don't, you know, it takes so much time, you know,
Yeah.
out of the day. It's easier for me to just go.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. Well, we're out of time. So thanks, everyone. We had a great group that joined us, a lot of great discussions. So I recorded it. I'll upload it. If anybody else wants to watch it, feel free to share. And I'll,
One thing before we all go though, Greg, we're going to do another sneak peek on Instagram
yep.
this week. So I'll share the details in the group, but we're gonna probably do the usual this Thursday, starting on Thursday. So it'll be a 3-day sneak peek on Instagram. Those of you that don't know that are new, it's, you know, basically we have videos that we share, most of us put together, and if anybody wants to join, I'll give you all little details in our chat. But it's we run it over a 3-day period where you can just invite people who you want to, you know, tell about the business or you've been talking about the business. All you gotta do is invite them, give them the link, they follow that It's a Team Engage 20 on Instagram. And the 3 days in a row, we'll just share videos, share posts, tell people a little bit about the coaching opportunity. And it's just a great way to share it. Like, all you gotta do is invite them, get them into the group. You don't have to explain anything to them. When it's all said and done, then you just have to follow up. And, Greg and I are always there to help if you want to,
Yeah,
get us on
and
the
it-
call, follow up.
And it's not a group, right? It's an account, Instagram account. It's just private, and people can request to follow it, and then we'll approve them, and then they'll be able to see the content. So anybody can request to follow it. You just have to tell them, hey, this is our team's private account. Come check it out for 3 days. And you can learn about coaching, right? And we cover different topics about coaching every day. So.
And you could share the account, write in your stories, write in your posts. People just click on it, request to follow. It's like really simple way of doing it. We do these all the time. Not everybody takes advantage of it, but all you got to do is just mention it, invite them to it, and all the work's done. If you want to participate, you want to post, add a video, reach out. We'll talk to you about it. It's just quick, short videos, but. It's worked great for us in the past, and we're going to continue to do them on a monthly basis. So take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Mhm.
If you want to
Can you
talk more about it
post
privately,
the link or on Messenger?
yeah, you can share the link on Messenger. I mean, I talk about it in my stories, and I always put just follow this link, or you can put that right in your story, right in your post.
I think they want the information.
Oh, so I thought you said, can you have it? I'm sorry, my boiler kicks in down here. I'm in the basement. The damn thing is so loud. I don't know if you guys hear it, but
No, but you'll share it in the chat, right? You'll share the account and all that stuff. So
Okay,
it'll be in
awesome.
our chat.
are you on our Facebook team page as well?
Yeah, she
I think
is.
so, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'll share it both places.
Yeah,
Okay,
Starting this
awesome.
Thursday, 3 days.
awesome. All right, guys. Well, have a great week.